Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Cold Hard Truth Podcast. I'm Jack Smith.
I'm Carr.
And I'm Anish Gupta.
We have Week 11 picks. It's so painful every week. Me and Anish differed on one game last week. I had the Bills. He had the
Hail
Cardinals.
Murray, baby. Come
you
on,
know how
bro.
that game turned out, but
you have no idea how hyped I was, bro, when I saw that play. Oh my God, bro.
and Streetcar got a game on me. So Streetcar's got 90 wins on the season. I have 91. Anish has 98. He's pulling away a little bit, and he tied you guys as the fans. Like we say every week, go to our Instagram. We'll have polls in our story.
Told you I'd catch up.
Wait, you guys can vote for each game each week, and then if you guys win at the end of the year, you get a giveaway. And you were in the lead, but Anish has tied you guys now, so it's going to take a good week for you guys. This is, in my opinion, the most important week of picks so far this year, and it's really the biggest week. There's so many games, so many good games between good teams. But let's get right into it. Thursday Night Football, Seattle.
Also timestamps.
Timestamps will be in the description for every game. Forgot to mention that. So you can go to any of the big matchups or your team's matchup. But Thursday Night Football, Arizona visiting CenturyLink Field to face the Seattle Seahawks. I got Russ. He's going to get back on track. I think that the Arizona Cardinals are on a tear, and they're really on fire, and it looks like they can't lose right now. But I trust Russell Wilson to bounce back from what's going on. It's been rough watching the last couple of weeks. Turnover problems, which is really something we don't see from him in his career. And so I think that he's going to get back on track. I think it's going to be a good week. At home, I think that the Seattle Seahawks win this game.
Okay, I'll go. So Kyler Murray, one of the hottest quarterbacks in the game right now, goes against Russell Wilson, who is pretty much on a decline. You know, we originally thought this guy was going to be MVP.
Very much on a decline.
Play-wise.
Whoa. No, play-wise.
All right, okay.
Yeah, I mean, you see his turnovers in his last games, but, I mean, Seattle's at home. You know what? I'll take Arizona here because I feel that the difference is that Arizona's got a better defense than Seattle, and it's one of the league's best offenses going against one of the league's worst defenses. I mean, I feel like my gut is telling me that Arizona is going to win this game, so I'm going to go with Arizona just based on the fact that I kind of want to go off trends now, and it's just pointing in Arizona's direction.
So there's a couple factors here. First, the Cardinals game. Hey, I appreciate you, DeAndre Hopkins. But here's the thing. I think the Cardinals are coming into this game a little bit too high. I think they're coming in a little bit too hot. They think of themselves a little bit too high right now. It's a short week, right? And also Seattle is coming off a 2-game road trip where they've had to go back-to-back coasts. Remember, I told people this too. They had the most travel miles coming into this year, so I expected a loss like that. And I told myself to pick the Rams. I don't know why I didn't, but hey, I trusted Russ. And hey, can we finally admit now and agree with me that I really don't think it's close? Patrick Mahomes is the clear number one.
That was obvious for some time.
No, people didn't think it was. People thought it was a legit case.
After that Bills game,
I still think everything's close in the NFL.
I know Jack does, but I'm here to tell you right now. I think he's in a class. Patrick Mahomes is in a class of his own. But that being said, I'm going to take Seattle because they finally come back home. But I do, and it's a short travel now, right? They're coming from LA to Seattle. It's not that big, but I want people to realize that, right? That's why I think when we had Seattle go, they had to go all the way to New York, then they had to come all the way back to LA. So it's definitely, it has a factor. Like that's how NFL games work. So I think Seattle bounces back here. I think they bounce back at home, and I'm going to take them.
And I think that, yes, they have a bad defense, but if Russ can have a turnover-free game, it makes up for that. And they're able to
I don't even think he needs to have a turnover-free game.
Not turnover-free, but like he can't do what he has done the last couple of weeks, which is turn the ball over multiple times each week. And I think that kind of saves them from having a bad defense, as you saw the first couple of weeks at the beginning of the season. But we go to the
they're also 2-7 without Chris Carson the last 2 years. I just wanted to point.
Is he playing this week?
I don't think so.
No? Okay. Well,
that's a bit concerning.
We'll see if they can get it done. I think they do. Shrikar, we'll see if the Cardinals can get it done. But we move on to Sunday. Anish's, you don't want to pick this game. I know you don't. Philadelphia Eagles, walk it to them Wentz versus your Cleveland Browns. Who do you have winning this one?
I just wanted to, because I knew this game was going to come. In fact, I was actually going to go watch the game had it not been for the pandemic. But I just wanted, Carson Wentz's first ever NFL game was against the Browns, and he lit them up for, I believe it was like 290 yards and 2 touchdowns. It was a great game. But now we've come 4 years later, and it's a 6-3 Browns, who I believe is the worst 6-3 team in the league. Like they haven't really beat anyone good. Maybe the Colts without Darius Leonard, that's probably the best team they've beaten. I really think this is the worst 6-3 team out of 9. So, but also you're coming against one of the worst division leaders I think in history. So it's a really tough game. I'm gonna pick the Browns at home, staying as a homer, but hopefully Walkinson can still have a good game. But I'm gonna pick the Browns here.
And I agree with you there. I think out of all the quality teams we've seen so far, I think the Browns are just the least convincing. Because Baker Mayfield, he's just been all over the place.
Yeah.
The defense hasn't really lived up to its potential. And I think what's going to win, I said this last week, but with Chubb coming back, what's going to win them this game is their running game. And, Chubb had a great game last week. First of all, Kareem Hunt did plenty of damage as well. So I think if Chubb and Hunt can get going,
He had a good fourth quarter.
Mm-hmm. And I think if the Browns can just get that run game going, I think they'll win this game here.
I just have a problem picking NFC East teams this year against any opponent that's not an NFC East team. We've seen them beat up against each other, and really it's unpredictable in those games. But when they go out of the division, it's just they look so overmatched. And the only other problem I have, though, is Philly's just been so inconsistent. So I can see them losing a game to the Giants and coming back and winning a game like this. But I feel like I have to go with Cleveland in this one because just NFC East teams are so inconsistent and they're just not good against the out of division teams. That's the only place they get their wins is inside their division. So I've got Cleveland in this one because I just don't think Philadelphia gets it done against a good AFC North team. Maybe if it was an NFC East team, I could see it, but not the Browns. And then Shrikar, how about you start us off on this one? We've got Atlanta facing the New Orleans Saints. Jameis Winston's first started game for the New Orleans Saints. Does he win?
I think Winston does win. I think this was the perfect matchup for Winston, to start his first game in as a Saint, because the Falcons' pass defense has been god awful, and really that should just open the door for Winston to have a good game. But I don't think it's going to be all on Winston's shoulders necessarily, because Kamara is going to be able to keep the offense moving. You got Michael Thomas too, but that defense too, it's becoming more solid every week. I don't think they should have too much trouble with Matt Ryan and that Falcons offense. So I'm going to take the Saints here.
Oh man, this one's tough. I picked the Falcons a couple weeks ago, and I think that won me the week. I'm gonna stay conservative. I'm gonna take the Saints because I think their playmakers will be like. So I remember when Teddy B came in and they beat Seattle. It was similar to that. Their playmakers stepped up. This was last year for the Saints when Breeze got hurt. So I think this happens again. I think Jameis will ride the momentum, and I think the Saints will win. But I would not be shocked if Falcons come off a bye and upset this team. But I think they'll make enough plays, especially hopefully Michael Thomas gets back on track and Saints win.
And obviously, we're pulling for Drew Brees. We're praying for him. It's a brutal injury, especially towards the end of a career. Hopefully, it doesn't mark the end. That would be just a tragedy. And I want to see him get back on the field soon. Maybe he can get back for a playoff run. But I'm going to pick the Saints, not just because I've sworn off the Falcons, though that does play a factor, but just because I feel like this is a good spot, I think, with Shrikar for Winston to come in and play, because he gets to play a Falcons team that he's seen before. And they don't have a great defense, and they don't have a good secondary. And so Winston has a turnover problem. But what I want to see is how this offense will adapt to Winston's style of play, because it's completely opposite from Brees.
But he is a downfield thrower, and he had LASIK eye surgery. I'm not saying that's much, but
they don't throw the ball downfield. That's the thing.
Yeah.
They rarely throw the ball downfield. They dink and dunk all game, and then they 1 or 2 throws downfield. And so if he has to play a conservative role where he throws to Alvin Kamara 20 times and Michael Thomas on short routes a lot, I wonder how he's going to function in that, or whether they will adapt the offense to his style of play to throw deep to some of their receivers.
Yeah, so like Traquan Smith could be a factor.
It's going to be interesting. Emmanuel Sanders, I think he's back, but it's going to be interesting to see what happens. I'm not sure what to expect from that offense. I was watching First Take this morning, and they were talking about whether it'll be more explosive, but I don't know if they're going to completely change the offense for him, especially if they expect Brees to be back for the playoffs. So just a thing to keep an eye out for. And there's another tough game that comes up next. It's going to be Cincinnati versus Washington. And you know what? Kind of like Atlanta, Washington's just really dead to me. After losing both games that I picked them to beat the Giants, I can't pick them to beat Cincinnati right now, and it's another NFC East team playing an out-of-division team. So I'm going to go with Cincinnati. I think Joe Burrow, the first pick, gets it done against Chase Young, the second pick. And right now, just Washington's dead to me.
I was very back and forth on this game because Alex Smith, he's brought stability to this offense, and we know that D line is always great, but I think I'm gonna take the Bengals here. I trust Joe Burrow more than Alex Smith right now, and yeah, to be honest, as Jack said, it's hard to bet on any NFC East team right now. So I'm gonna take the Bengals here.
Yeah, clean sweep. I think the Bengals have looked good in, some of their losses, and they've looked good in their wins, or their 2 wins that they had. Also, keep in mind, this dude Joe Burrow had no turnovers against Pittsburgh. That's incredible. I mean,
they did go 0 for 13 on third down, or he went over 13.
So
on third
obviously,
down.
I mean, I think with them, it's just, Pittsburgh is not even. They're so good that like a lot of defenses are considered situational. They're good in all facets. So I mean, it just showed right there. But the fact that he had no turnovers, the fact that he's disciplined enough to play a clean 213-yard game, man, the sky's the limit for this kid. Like seriously. So I got the Bengals here. Hopefully Joe Burrow can pull it out, get him a win, look a little bit impressive.
And another tough game is Detroit versus Carolina. Again, kind of like last week, I think if Christian McCaffrey is playing this game, it's a little bit different. But Detroit has looked good. I mean, I think they're coming off of a bye. I don't think they played last week.
They did. They beat Washington.
That was the week before, I think. This week.
Last week. Matt Prater game-winning field goal.
Yes, you're right. Yes, you're right, because they kind of gave it up towards the end, but they really looked dominant towards the beginning of that game and really close to the end. They were dominating Washington. So, they're looking good. I think they have a little bit of momentum, and I think they beat this Panthers team. We're not sure if Bridgewater's going to play, and we know McCaffrey's not going to play. So I think Detroit can get it done against the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah, I think the Panthers are just I'll say they're falling apart. They've lost their last 5 games. Bridgewater got hurt. Is PJ Walker starting this week?
If it's I don't think it's decided yet, but he might have to.
Good in the snaps that I saw.
My pick. And the defense, it's just against the pass, it hasn't been great. And this Lions team really likes to air it out. So I don't know. Matthew Stafford's had a lot of great games in 2020. So I think he's going to take advantage of this Panthers defense, and I'm going to take the Lions to win this.
You guys convinced me. I was really thinking a Panthers upset if McCaffrey played, but I think Bridgewater, there's too many questions. And with Stafford, he's looked good. I got to give it to him. I think Golladay also comes back, so that's a big boost.
I think he's still questionable. We can give you a contingent pick. We can give you a contingent pick, something we haven't done all year. You can say if Bridgewater starts, you can take the Panthers. I would allow that. I don't know if Shrikar would.
Nah, it's okay. I think if I were, I want to like put down, all my chips in one basket. I guess I don't know how to say it, but I think another thing would be for the Lions. It's just they've offensively they've been good, and I for the Panthers, get my guy Brian Burns some help. I mean, like he is carrying that pass rush. It's sad.
Where has Derek Brown been? Drafted 8th
that's
overall,
my point.
right?
I think if I'm telling you, if Isaiah Simmons was a Panther, I really think he would be talked a lot more than he is.
He's had a couple good games in a row though for the Cardinals.
Yeah. So, but give me the Lions.
Darn it! I was really trying to get you to take the Panthers there, but we've got a clean sweep in this next game. None of you were dumb enough to take the Jaguars against the Steelers, right?
No.
I don't think that game takes a lot of analysis. The Steelers are the best team in the league right now, record-wise. Okay. Don't know about power rankings wise or power wise, but they're 9-0 and they're facing the Jaguars, who have won one game, and it was in week 1 and kind of a fluke win.
I just want to say one thing before we move on. Big Ben has honestly been playing like the 3rd best quarterback in the AFC. So
it's so brutal because I can't give him comeback player of the year. I'm sorry, he's been playing so well.
It's gonna be Alex Smith. Yeah.
I'm giving it to Alex Smith. I don't care.
It's got to be Alex Smith. Yeah.
Because
I get it. I get the story. I mean, I watched the documentary. I get it, but
it's a story award.
Big Ben has played tremendous. No, really.
He has.
He really has. I mean, he's honestly, as much as I love Ryan Tannehill, we'll get to the Titans, but I think he's been playing well.
Yeah, he had a rough game against Tennessee, but he's been very good for the whole season, and that's why we were saying before the season, if Big Ben's good, the Steelers will be good. If he's not, the
Yeah.
Steelers won't be. And he has been, and they're 9-0. So we move on to what I believe is the hardest game to pick all week. We've got Tennessee versus Baltimore. I've got my pick locked in. Anish, why don't you start us off on this one, though?
I think I know who Jack is picking. Look, this could be a little bit biased on both sides. I'm taking the Titans. And because one, the Tannehill after a loss with the Titans has been terrific. And they get 10 days to prepare. This team was definitely mad about blowing that in the second half. So I'm taking the Titans, and really this Ravens team hasn't looked good. And I have told people this, and I don't get it. People were, if I had said the Ravens wouldn't be a top 2 seed and I genuinely tried to argue it the entire time, people would have laughed in my face. They would have shoved it down my throat and been like, oh my God, you're crazy. Right? But I'm telling you, they were going to get exposed in different games. And we saw it. This was a clear example. And I want my credit on it because I said in primetime games they would be exposed. Didn't matter the team, but they were the hunted now. Look what's happening. Look what happened against the Patriots. It wasn't because it was a monsoon type environment. That is besides the point. They could not play well down.
They couldn't stop the run.
That's another thing. And yes, there are some injuries, but where is the receiving core? Marquise Brown has a 4.3 40-yard dash and can't get open to save his life. I mean, if you just watch, I wish we could show it up, but if you just watch a play where J.C. Jackson gets the pick, he ran the route for him. I mean, I don't want to talk about this Ravens team. I was telling you guys, it's still a good team. Albeit they will beat up on bad teams, but I really think this Titans team is built to beat them.
That makes me so mad. I'm going to take the Titans too. I thought you were going to pick the Ravens, and look, I have to be risky down seven wins to you, but I legitimately believe the Titans were going to win this game because when they get down, the Ravens can't stop the run. And I think the Tennessee they have Derrick Henry, so they can run the ball. And Ryan Tannehill, he'll get better. Obviously, we know what he has inside of him, and he can bring it out at times. And I think that he brings it out better against good teams. And the Ravens last
plays
time
up to his competition.
He does. And they have Derrick Henry, and so I think that against the Ravens, I was going to take the Titans. It makes me so mad you took them too.
I'm going to take the Ravens, man. I'll be that one guy, but I think for Lamar Jackson, I'm really banking on this matchup to be the one where he bounces back and gets back on track because the Titans have had a hard time slowing anyone down this year. And really, this is going to be one of Jackson's best opportunities, to win. And, could we see him in that 2019 form? Possibly. With the state of this Titans defense, I could see it. You got home field advantage on your side as well. The Titans
didn't work last time.
We'll see. The Titans, a divisional loss. We'll see how Tannehill plays. He's not playing his best football as of, right now. But I think the Ravens, they're in prime position to get a win here. I'm going to take the Ravens.
And we move on to our next game. We have the New England Patriots versus the Houston Texans. And I say this every week. I would pick the Texans if they had beaten any team other than the Jaguars. They've beaten the Jaguars twice this year. They're only 2 wins. So no matter how much I hate the Patriots, no matter how much I hate Cam Newton, and no matter how much I'm just not impressed by this Patriots team, they can run the ball. They win when they run the ball. Basically, that's how it works for them this year. Houston is the worst at stopping the run in the league, and they've only beaten the Jaguars. That's really all I need to say in this one.
Cam Newton, despite his struggles this season, he continues to come up in these key moments. He helped the Patriots get ahead against the Ravens, albeit, the slippery footballs come into play. The defense also comes into play. But can they do it again in Week 11 against a far less competitive Texan squad? I mean, I think so. It's just the Texans have been a mess this year, even after Bill O'Brien was fired. And not to knock Deshaun Watson or anything because he's playing quality football, but it's just his defense. The Houston defense has been god-awful, and there's a reason why the Texans are 2-7. And no, it's not because of bad luck. I'm going to take the Pats here.
This game, this was the exact same game last year, and Deshaun Watson pulls it out. I really think their confidence got stunted, and I think the Texans at home, it gives them a legit shot. But again, I can't bet against Bill Belichick.
You're just playing conservative right now. I know you want to take the Texans.
Yeah, I really do.
Keep in mind though, you can't play conservative with us. I mean, you still got to get ahead of the fans.
Yeah.
Well, I'm tied with the. I feel like the fans would pick Ravens. This Texans Patriots game, it's flip flop. You know what? Give me the Texans. I'll take them at home.
Thank you. But our next game, I don't know. You were saying it was a hard game before, Anish. It's Miami versus Denver.
Mm-hmm.
Miami is on fire, and I understand they're young.
Wait, no, weekly segment. I want to hear it.
Don't care. So
no, Jack Smith was wrong on Miami. Shrikar also said they would not have a winning year. I want my credit. Miami is rolling.
And we still don't care. So Miami's on fire. They're playing good football. And I understand they're a young team. And this kind of seems like a game maybe a young team would drop, especially if they're playing hot, because it doesn't matter what their momentum is like or how good they are. Is when you have young players, they make young mistakes. And so I understand that could happen against Denver. It's not even a foregone conclusion, though, that Drew Lock is playing this week. And even if he was, he's been terrible. Like, I'm surprised we haven't talked about it yet on the podcast. Drew Lock has been awful.
Yep.
I mean, that's why I was a little bit not sold on him because we only had a couple games last year.
He had a couple bad games, sure.
Did he throw 4 picks last week? 3 or 4?
Yeah, he did. But I think I can defend him a little bit. I'll defend him a little bit because, again, he has had a lot of injuries to his team. It's been an up and down year for him. And I think give this team more stability, and I think he'll be better. Because again, we saw flashes last year.
Flashes aren't everything though. And you got to back up flashes. You have to back up flashes, and he has not.
So yeah, I mean you got Miami, Jack?
I have Miami.
I'm guessing Shrikar does too.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. So I think the problem is young quarterbacks don't play well in Denver. And I was really tempted to take the Broncos over the Chargers a couple weeks ago, and they pulled it out, but albeit it was pretty lucky. This does seem like the type of game where I would pick Denver. I'm going to go conservative, take Miami.
It's not even quarterback. Like, Tua hasn't needed to play amazing to win them games.
Tua has thrown 5 touchdowns, no picks. His passer rating has been good.
But it's not like they're asking him to win them the games. He's just making the plays they need to win, which is if you can put that's what I'm saying. If you can put a young quarterback in a position to make those plays instead of asking him to make the other plays, you're set. And I think that the Dolphins are doing great.
Could we talk about how the free agent pickups that I said they would make would be helpful?
It hasn't even been that. They've been getting guys off the street that are just.
But what my point with this team was coaching and developing players, and on top of that, roster wise, they got better. It's just a collective thing, and you have to take into account how a team finishes last year. It's a clear indication. If they go 5-4 down the stretch, it's a clear indication that this team is heading in the right direction. That's what sold me, and that's why they're sitting here 6-3. Hopefully, knock on wood, 7-3.
I think it's a lot of coaching, and I think it just shows you how good Brian Flores is. But they're just on fire, and I just don't see them losing this game. If you want another weekly segment, the Jets are going to lose. I legitimately, though, I would have picked the Jets if Darnold was playing. I would have, because it's the Chargers, and they lose in Chargers ways. So they would have lost to a 0-9 Jets squad.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Chargers. It's just, we've said it before, but the Chargers are better than their 2-7 record would indicate. Just too many close losses this season, but they're competitive week in and week out. Justin Herbert's been a revelation. What have we not said about the Chargers that
we talk about them every week?
Yeah, they're just so polarizing because they're heartbreaking.
I mean,
yeah, they're heartbreaking, but I mean, the Jets are heartbreaking too. I'm going to take the Chargers.
Did they even play last year? I can't even remember.
Not last year, no.
Were they off bye?
Oh, the Jets did not play last week, no. So they didn't lose, finally.
Yeah, Jets were off bye. The Chargers, I'm going to pick them here just because, I mean, last time they played a bad team like the Jags, they did well. And I just don't think the Jets would make the plays that would win them a game. So, I honestly wouldn't be shocked. Like, I feel like they will win 2 games. I said that coming into the year, and I remember, and I will quote Jack on this. Jack said they're not winning 2 games. And
yeah, hey, they're winning less. They're winning less.
So I will quote him on that forever. I think they will win 2. I'm hoping, because that would be pretty cool if I got it right. But yeah, I think the Chargers will win this game.
I think you misheard me. I meant they can't. They're not winning 2 because they're only going to win 1 or 0.
Yeah.
But you guys are
not 6 and finishing 3rd in the division.
No. But this next game, I'm going a shot in the dark. I think the Colts are going to beat the Packers, and I'm going to pick them to beat the Packers. Here's why. I think that Green Bay wins games that Aaron Rodgers plays well in, and they very much rely on him to play well to win. Indianapolis is allowing a pass rating this year that is equal to what Dwayne Haskins has had this year. Let that sink in. Also, when the Colts run the ball well, they win. You saw that last week against the Titans. They ran the ball well with Naeem Hines, and they won. The Packers have a bad rushing defense. Adding on to that, the Packers have never won in Indianapolis, but that's kind of not an actual fact that led me to make this decision. It's just something to note.
Okay, here's the thing, though. Have the Colts faced anyone on Aaron Rodgers' level and shut them down?
Ryan Tannehill?
The question I need to ask.
He's
Ryan
not
Tannehill.
on. He's not on.
He's not, but
on
at least he's close.
Wouldn't say he's close.
Well,
I'm going to give the edge to the Packers.
There are tiers. There are tiers, Jack.
there
You
are
have
tiers,
to
yes,
admit it.
but at least he has the ability to play as well as Aaron Rodgers in a game.
Yeah. Okay.
Sure, but yeah, I'm going to give the edge to the Packers here. I'm just going to go with my gut. I trust Rodgers way more than I do Rivers. I think the Packers have a more well-rounded offense. Defense, obviously, you got to give the edge to the Colts there, but I think the Packers can get it done. I don't think the Colts have the firepower to, go toe for toe with Aaron Rodgers. And I think that's just my gut telling me that, but I'm going to go with the Packers here.
So I think we got to give some respect and props to Xavier Rhodes. Please. I really think this dude should make an all-pro team.
All-pro, I mean, I don't think it's going to happen.
Like second, I think he can make second.
No, me too. I think he can. I just don't think it will.
People should. I want people to know this because people are just going to act like he was terrible off that one Vikings year. Players have bad years, but I mean, look how he's playing. AJ Brown was shut down. He was shut down, and he has played great all year. Guys like Allen Robinson got shut down against him. Adam Thielen, he has played terrific. This is a tough game. The Packers, is Devontae Adams that good to a point where he can beat Xavier Rhodes? And is the Colts momentum off 10 days, right, good enough to win? Because the Packers did not look good against the Jaguars. They didn't. And you know what? I think the Colts win.
Dude, stop stealing my upset picks.
I think the Colts win at home.
I hate you so much. Stop stealing my upset picks. I'm just trying to get some leg up on you. I'm not picking Minnesota against Dallas.
I gave you Texans. I gave you that.
Stop. Dallas is not going to beat Minnesota. Not picking that upset. Again, NFC East team playing an out-of-division opponent. Dallas has been horrible. I'm not going to say much more than that.
Yeah, the same reason as Jack. I'm going to take Minnesota.
I just want to talk about something. Shrikar, I am never, ever trusting you on a Bears pick in my life.
Oh, my God.
Again, my God.
It's your fault. You can't blame me. It's your fault.
No, I'm so blaming Shrikar because, dude,
you picked
that was legit the worst offensive performance I have ever seen in my life. I did pick him, and I'm 100% blaming Shrikar. Listen.
You can't blame me.
That was the
you
worst.
You know what? You could have said one sentence. You could have said, "I'm taking the Vikings." That's all you had to say.
No, you know what? It was a lapse in our judgment, not playing the Streetcar Bears theme. Another weekly segment we can't have because the Bears are on bye.
Yeah,
but
we can't make this. Thank God.
I even said at the end when I picked the Bears, I said, "Let me save you guys some time. Pick the Vikings."
Yeah, no, don't worry.
I told you.
I can't agree with this dude ever on a Bears pick again, ever. And I'm talking about the Bears when I should be talking about the Vikings. Vikings have looked good. I really think this team has a shot. I think it's between them and the Rams for the 7th seed in the NFC. I really think so. That's not just me trying to, shoot because of my friend's a Vikings fan. No, I really think this team has a lot of momentum coming in. They have a very favorable schedule. I think they beat Dallas, and let's see where this goes. But they've looked pretty good.
Trigger, before we get to our last two primetime games of the week, who do you got this week, the Bears or the bye week? So we know who to pick.
Oh, I got the bye week, man.
Oh, then we got the Bears. Me and he's got the Bears, got to ride the trend. But getting into Sunday Night Football, we've got the Kansas City Chiefs against the Las Vegas COVID-19s, basically, because they really cannot stay off of COVID reserve. Their whole defense, basically, is going to be off this week. But they did beat the Chiefs the first time. Shrikar, who do you have winning this one?
So with the Raiders, at home, They haven't been as good as they are on the road. I think they're 2-2 at home, 4-1 on the road. And the Chiefs' only loss came at home to the Raiders. And now Kansas City is on the road going to Las Vegas, and I think they're going to get a win. I'm not going to bet against the Chiefs. As much as I like the Raiders this year, but yeah, Chiefs is my pick. My homeboy.
No. I
can
want
say it.
no
I can
way.
say
I
it.
wanted to oppose you.
Homeboy.
No way. No, you can't do this. What? No.
Anyway, I got the Chiefs. I just think I think that they were going to beat the Raiders anyway, and now the Raiders' whole defense is out. So it's the Chiefs' offense against the Raiders' backup defense. That's all. I mean, that's all I got.
Would it be funny if they lost? Would they be funny if they lost to the Raiders twice?
That would be so ironic.
It would be very ironic, but it's not happening because oh my God, my homeboy off a bye? Oh, come on. I mean, hold on. Knock on wood. No, my homeboy off a bye.
My homeboy off a bye.
Best quarterback in the NFL, tier of his own. It is not close.
And they're just a much better team.
MVP
I feel like
front-runner.
I think right now, if I were doing power rankings, they're definitely one for me still. The Steelers have
No
the better record.
question. No
Steelers have the better
question.
record, but Chiefs are still one for me because really since that Raiders game, they haven't looked like they were going to lose.
Carolina.
Carolina, yeah, but I still like there was still a lot of hope in that game. I never really thought, oh, the Panthers are going to win this one. That's happened with the Steelers. I mean, they almost lost to the Cowboys of all teams. So I think right now the Chiefs are the best team in the NFL, and they play the Raiders, a backup team on defense. I think it's a recipe for disaster for the Raiders. But Shrikar said he had the Raiders in his top 6 in power rankings.
Top 6?
Top 6.
Nah, I'd move them back. They're in my top 8 now.
Okay.
Top 6 in the conference, but no, I'm just kidding. No, they're a good team.
This would have been a much better Sunday Night Football game before all this COVID stuff. So it's at least disappointing we lost that.
Really quick shout out to Derek Carr. I believe he's 3rd in completion percentage.
Proving us
He's
wrong.
really done well this year.
Yep.
Done very well. So this Raiders offense has been great. Showing love to this Raiders team because I genuinely think this is it's close between the Raiders and the Finns. I mean, I would a little bit of my bias, but these two are really good wildcard teams. And I think this AFC, it's a lot less top heavy than I thought coming into the year.
Yeah.
We've got some good AFC teams.
I think, the conferences have kind of balanced themselves out, I feel like, over the course of the year a little bit more, especially with the emergence of the Steelers and the Bills playing well. So I think it's just they balance themselves out. But we have a good NFC battle. This is maybe the game of the week. It wasn't the hardest to pick, but I think it's maybe the game of the week. We've got the Los Angeles Rams and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on primetime Monday Night Football. The Bucs have not been good on primetime. I'll start with that before I get into my pick. They're 1-2 on primetime, and their only win is against the Giants, who they very narrowly beat, and they played terribly throughout that entire game. So
they got outplayed.
They did, and they should have lost, to be honest. So they should be 0-3 on primetime. Bruce Arians actually switched their practice for Thursday and Friday to be at night because they wanted them to be ready for primetime. And I saw someone write that Tom Brady's bedtime is 8:30. And so these coincides with his bedtime, 5:15 Pacific time. And honestly, I think this is a very good matchup for the Rams. And because the Buccaneers haven't played well on primetime, because I think it's a good matchup, I've got the Rams winning in this one. The Rams they've been a lot better at home, and they're on the road in this one. But I just think I feel there's something in me that feels like if you get pressure on Tom Brady, you can win the game, especially this year. And the Rams have been the 3rd best team at getting pressure in the league. So I think that they win a primetime game against the Buccaneers.
The Rams have not been good away from home this season, and now they're heading to the complete opposite side of the country to take on the Bucs.
Yeah.
And look, they're more than capable of keeping this one close. But I'm just Jared Goff in this offense going against this Bucs defense. I'm going to have more faith in this Bucs defense to get the job done.
The Rams defense, honestly, this year you can make an argument they're the best defense in football.
The Rams have
been they've been the best defense in the NFC.
You could argue the best in football. To be honest, you could.
Yeah.
And you remember Jalen Ramsey? Remember that guy? You kind of forgot about him and the fact he was on the Rams.
He was great against DK Metcalf. He ran his routes for him.
Yeah.
But I think that goes to show that, please, I mean, he's
not
not
Jerry
a top
Rice.
5 receiver.
Did you see him?
DK Metcalf is What?
They were comparing him to
I-
Jerry Rice throughout his first
They're
however many
comparing him
games.
to
I'm like,
Nugget.
No, they were comparing him to Calvin Johnson. I mean, this
Yeah.
is
and
just
Jerry Rice.
utter
I've seen
disrespect.
Jerry
I
Rice
mean,
comparisons.
look, DK Metcalf is great. He's a great talent, but
Better
right
than
now
Debo.
I can't put him in my top 10 right now. I
No.
can't.
Not
Not yet. So
No. The Rams have a great defense of their own too, but it's Tom Brady versus Jared Goff. I trust Tom Brady way more than I do Jared Goff. And Ronald Jones, I think he's going to have some big plays on the ground too. So I'd take the Buccaneers here.
I think, hey, you're getting your different pick, Jack. I'm taking the Bucks because, again, I believe travel miles is a big thing. Traveling across coast, it is a big thing. And I'm believing it more and more as we've seen in the course of the year, right? I'm not saying it decides games, but it does play in factor. I think it does. And one thing I will say, I think this Bucks defense will slow down the run. And Jared Goff is one of the best. I would say he's a top 5 quarterback off play action. So if he doesn't get that going, then it's hard for these receivers to get separation. So I'm going to take the Bucks here. I think they ride momentum, go to, I believe, 8-3 because they haven't had their bye week. So I believe they go to 8-3. But I mean, could the Rams upset? They've got the two best at their respective positions. I think Jalen Ramsey's been, you can say he's the best corner right
I think so.
Obviously, I mean, Aaron Donald. If you have anyone else as the best defensive player in the league, I mean, this should be like
You're done. That's basically what he's saying.
Like he's the best defensive player in the league, and he's definitely shown that. But I think the Bucks will win this one.
I just think if you can get pressure on Tom Brady, especially in a primetime game, look at the 2 times that's happened this year. The Bears got pressure on him, and he made mistakes, and they lost. The Saints got pressure on him, and they got destroyed. And they're both in primetime games. I just feel like Strigar, you were talking about trends. I feel like that's the trends we've seen throughout the year. And I think this Rams defense deserves credit. You can make a case they've been the best defense in football this year, and they get pressure.
But I think here's the thing, and I know I've been clowned a lot for saying this. If it comes down to a crucial drive, right, and it's between Tom Brady to make a play or Aaron Donald to make a play, I'm going with the quarterback.
Yeah, I get that, and I think that it's honestly going to be a very good game. I really want to watch this one, see how it plays out. But that's going to wrap up our week. Like we said, you can go to our Instagram and vote on our story for who you think is going to win each game. It's getting a lot more important now. You guys had a big lead, and he's just caught up to you. So it's going to be important. You guys get a giveaway if you win. So go vote on our Instagram. We're also so close on YouTube to hitting 300 subscribers. I believe when this came out, we're 6 or 5 away. So if you just drop a subscription if you guys aren't already subscribed and you like the content. Help us get to the 300. We've been grinding for a while. But follow our other socials, our Twitter, go to our website in the description. Leave a like on this video and let us know down in the comments who you think is going to win some of the big games, who you think is going to win, the Rams or Tom Brady and the Buccaneers. So that's all we got today. Leave a comment and a like if you like the video, and we will see you next time.